Alright guys, these cuttings are well rooted and ready to go. As you can see, the philodendron is doing quite nicely. So is the golden pothos. They both have active growth on them. Leaf unfolding right here, one over here. And the philodendron has been pretty active with new leaves coming out on it. These are from a video I did on December 7th. And they were actually cut about 2 weeks before that. So they are ready to go. They're ready for their new homes. Little update on the jade stump. It's doing quite well too. Alright, well let's plant these guys up and I'll show you my process. Alright, here's the supplies I'll be using. My assortment of water. My tools of the trade. Pre-made potting mix. 2 pots. Big bag of perlite. The all-purpose fertilizer I always use. And a planting tray. If you guys don't have one of these, they are very useful. Alright, the first thing I do is make sure that the pot has adequate drainage. And these holes are already punched out. You have an option to punch this one out, which I did. Now this can be used for a hanging basket, so you want to check this. So it'll go on tight for the hanging basket, but you still have adequate drainage because these plug those holes up right there, but you still have drainage here. So you just want to make sure everything's punched out correctly. And if you want, you can keep it plugged in for a hanging basket, or what I'm going to do for the ones that I'm not going to hang is I'm going to set it in there, and then I get more drainage and I get more airflow, so I have easy access to the bottom. This one I'm going to hang, so I'm going to plug it in there. Alright, on to the soil mix. First thing I do when I make my soil is get a face mask, you know, because of all the dust, and I use a good bit of perlite and it's really dusty, so I always wear a face mask. The mix is going to be, I'm going to use this pot, and it's going to be 2 parts potting soil and 1 part perlite, and we'll see how I feel about the drainage after that. So let's get to it. Okay, now I decide if I like the drainage, and I like my soil to be very well draining. It's easy to overwater houseplants. This seems decent. I think I'll go with this. So we had 2 parts potting mix to 1 part perlite. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good mix. Alright, on to the next step. So I put a little layer of the mix on bottom, basically just enough to cover the holes. Then I get my all-purpose fertilizer in a pot this size. We'll just call that a gallon pot. I will use 1 tablespoon on the bottom, just like this. I just pour it on the bottom. I usually use about a tablespoon per gallon. Now I tend to do that on more vigorous growing plants, ones that are going to get intense light, usually outdoors. So I think I'll just do a little less than a tablespoon on bottom for this house plant. There's a good bit of organic material in the soil too that's going to feed it, so we'll just go with that. And then I get my water mix, which is, there's a little less than a teaspoon of unsulfured molasses in here. And it's an excellent food source for the microbiological activity that's going to be going on in the soil. It's something for them to eat, and it jump starts this whole process. So I just wet the bottom, make sure everything can get started. And the reason I put it on bottom is because here in about a couple months, the roots will be really established and they're going to be going through a lot of food already, and they'll get a nice treat when they get to the bottom of the pot. And another reason to put it on the bottom of the pot is that's where a lot of the oxygen is going to be coming in through the bottom, and the microbiological life really thrives on oxygen as well as the roots and stuff. So it's like right at the source of the oxygen, and it can really boost that micro life. And then just start filling her up by hand. We'll start right about there. Go get some of the cuttings. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place them all in the center and take them out of the jar just the way they are in the jar. And I'm not gonna individually plant holes. I'm just gonna put them in the center. I try to keep the original water line that they were in the jar when I put them in their new home. And then what I do is I just give it a nice drop to pack it down. I'll go back through when I'm finished with the other one, see if I like the soil line, and just give it a once over, take out dead leaves and stuff. There's the first one. And I just do the same thing with this pot. Alright, and then there's the philodendron. I just give them a real light watering at first. Don't like to oversaturate the soil. And then that's it. Just gonna clean off the pots, go put them in the window. Alright, here they are in their new home. I think they're gonna like it here. And then with the leftover soil, I had some succulents and one cactus that have been laying around forever. These were cuttings and plants that have probably been laying around about 2 months. So instead of losing them, I thought, you know what, I'll just plant them up in the soil. I would never use this rich of a soil, especially with all that nitrogen. But I just cut it a bunch with perlite, and then I top dressed it with akadama. We have a Trichocereus pachanoi back there, some cuttings of that. Aloe hybrid, and I think this is a Gasteria aloe hybrid. I have to get all the tags out and find out for sure, but we'll see how they'll do. If nothing else, when they pup or I get some decent cuttings off of them, I can put them in the correct medium. And then I also have this snake plant too. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.